And on Saturday, we shall be going out and casting our votes for our preferred candidate. So who will be president? Will it be President Muhammadu Buhari to continue? Will it be challenger Atiku Abubakar? Or will it be one of the numerous other contenders that are out there in the field? We all know about dark horses. We'll see how all of that goes. But the front runners, sitting President Muhammadu Buhari and, according to most, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, candidate of the PDP. Now, endorsements all over the place, and Ohanaeze Ndigbo has endorsed the candidate of PDP when they arose from a meeting referred to as Imeobi. They then said that they had endorsed Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So what is Imeobi? And in other words, so what gives? What actually is giving within Ohanaeze Ndigbo? I didn't think there were many more people than the Secretary General of Ohanaeze to tell us exactly what's going on within the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, and that's Dim Uche Okuku, a lawyer and Secretary General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. Thank you very much for coming on, Dim.
Thank you. And viewers,
yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
Now, let me quickly, first of all, not being an Igbo speaker myself, along with so many other people, we couldn't quite get our heads around Imeobi. Ohanaeze members were said to have adjourned or risen from a meeting of Imeobi. What exactly is that? How does Imeobi and Ohanaeze, how do they come to be related such that arising from a meeting of Imeobi, purportedly the PDP candidate has been endorsed?
Thank you. The word purported is very, very, it suits the description of what transpired. Imeobi is one of the organs of Ohanaeze. You have the NEC, the National Executive Council, you have Imeobi, you have the General Assembly, you have the Council of Elders. So Imeobi is just one organ. And under the Constitution of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, 2015, Imeobi is made up of former presidents, or serving president of the Federal Republic, former Senate president, Speaker of the House of Reps, serving or formal, all serving governors, all former governors, first-class traditional rulers, selected members of the college. Naturally, in a society where there is decency and respect, there are people who have achieved feats in the various professions, business, community leadership. You can't object their presence in Imeobi because the weight of experience and their contribution to society and humanity, we need to leverage on it for successful and result-oriented deliberations.
Sounds like a pretty powerful organization within Ohanaeze.
Yes, I said it's a powerful organ of the Ohanaeze indeed. And that is why if you take a decision purporting that decision was taken by Imeobi and it turns out to be false, you'll be rebooked. And you'll be rebooked and be rebooked strongly by Ndigbo.
Well, if Imeobi, with such sterling members as you have described, pronounces, who determines that whatever they've come up with is, as you put it, false?
Let me deal with the issue. If some decisions of the Imeobi will be taken, you take them to the General Assembly. Some that of course, will not naturally have deep implications, may be taken by the Igbos at that level to be binding. But the issue at hand, adoption or endorsement of a candidate, is a weighty issue that will affect the destiny of a people, their fate, for 4 years or more. So you take it to the General Assembly. And if that is not done, it will provoke reaction. But in the case, what happened on the 24th of January, there was no valid Imeobi, no valid Imeobi. And once something is not predicated on something that is defensible, it does not exist. Therefore, I strongly contend, opine and hold that there was no Imeobi on the 24th day of January 2019. On the following grounds. One, in all African societies, Igbo inclusive, divination is a fundamental aspect of our life.
Divination?
Yes.
Okay.
Before you proceed on with a meeting, you broke kola nuts. In fact, if somebody visits you in Igbo land, you present kola nut. That kola nut may just be simple kola nut. It may be ordinary water. It doesn't need to be kola nut.
Okay.
On the 24th of January, no kola nut was presented before purported deliberations went on. And it violates the spirituality of the Igbo race.
And this is important.
Fundamental. It violates the spirituality of our life. I've told you divination is important. Two, on that day, the president, in his own wisdom, a great man who had done Ndigbo well. He has started the second Niger Bridge. The work is speedily going on the Port Harcourt-Enugu Express Road and Onitsha-Enugu Express Highway. He had completed the Zik Muslim. Zik, apart from being one of the fathers of Nigerian nationalism, is Ndigbo, the father of Igbo nationalism. And the Muslim was completed 23 years after he had died. He died in 1996. The president and commander-in-chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, came to the east to commission the Muslim that same 24th. And that is the day the suspended President General, Nyawodo, Fist Imeobi, Governor Mai, because whatever I say, I'm bound by what I've said. Governor Mai, the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, called him, let's respect Zik. Suspend the Imeobi. All the Igbo governors are going to receive the president because what he's coming to do is of very great significance. Onitsha is not the state capital of Okabe. We're all going to Onitsha, where Zik was buried. If you suspend the Imeobi, it can be done the next day, being Saturday. It can be done on Monday. It can be done in... But it is important we suspend it because the president is in town and we are his host. He's our guest. He refused. Ngige, Senator Ngige, the Minister of Labor and Productivity called him, appealed to him to suspend the Imeobi. He refused. First and foremost, he does not even have the power to convey Imeobi. I have the power as the Secretary General. So he even violated the Constitution.
Okay.
Every meeting of any organ of Ohanaeze can only be conveyed by me.
As the
In consultation. Consultation means I can send text to him, I can call him on phone, I can write him. That's consultation. Consultation does not include directive. The governor still appealed to him on my. Please, it will be unfair if you go on with this meeting scheduled for 4 p.m. At the end of the day, they agreed finally at 6 p.m. I was out, I was in Enugu. At about 3:30, a very important member of the NEC called me and whispered to me that the suspended President General, Ndigbo, had planned to hold the meeting at 4. I said, no, the meeting already, everybody was in his hall. Every NEC member, people are in their hotel rooms waiting to move to the place by 6. I rushed to the venue. Lo and behold, he arrived, and I started calling people, so this man wants to go on with this meeting. At 4:48, 12 minutes to 5, he said those who want the meeting to go on should say aye. Of course, he has arranged a crowd. They say aye. No collar was broken, no nothing. He went on. At 22 minutes after 5, 12 plus 22, that is about 34 minutes. He ended the meeting and left. Nobody saw him. I didn't see him. I called him, no way. By 6 p.m., the Minister of Science and Technology, Ngige, the representative of the governor of Anambra, the Speaker of the House of Assembly of Anambra, everybody started coming for Imeobi. People started coming. Traditional rulers, notable captains of industry, because they have already agreed, and for 6 p.m. He had left before 5:30, and people were shocked. I tried to reach him, no way, as the Secretary General. At about 11:30, I got information he was circulating a communique, purportedly claiming that same emanated from the Imeobi. And of course, we'll come to the issue, how communiques, we get to communicate in Imeobi. And I was shocked to my marrow. In every meeting, including even in student union movement, when a meeting is going on, you want a communique drafting committee will be set up. When you take a decision, the communique drafting committee will draft the communique, subject it to debate and ratification. If that is accepted, is ratified, and I must sign a communique as the Secretary General. I must sign a communique. I repeat the word. The two previous Imeobi we had heard, I signed the communique with him. In fact, as the Secretary, if there is no communique drafting committee, I will author the communique. No communique drafting committee was. So.
All of what you've explained, is that the background to your going to Aso Rock now and apologizing?
Of course, we will. Of course.
What were you apologizing for?
Of course, if you read the communique, he presented the president as a man who is insensitive to the demise of Ndigbo and Nigeria. And that is not true, because since 1999, democracy started, the only president that is very sensitive to the most important demand that Ndigbo is making is President Muhammadu Buhari. I'll tell you why. President Buhari had communicated to us that we should present a state so that the Southeast will have 6 states. Only the Southeast have 5 states. And that he will present it as an executive bill. The NEC sat and recommended that Aba State was the most viable and should be created from the present-day Okwangwa, made up of 9 local government areas. And of course, you know, Aba alone can, the IGR from the markets in Aba can help a state to be viable. The President General come from Nsukka, and he wanted the NEC to recommend the creation of Adada State, which is Nsukka. Because the NEC recommended the creation, this is black and white, recommended for the creation of Aba. He frustrated it until today. That recommendation is in a document, had not been transmitted to anywhere. So I don't know a president, because when people talk about restructuring, justice, equity, fairness, it takes different forms. To give the East, Southeast, an additional state to make it 6 is, to me, justice. It's to me fairness. To me, equity. It's to me right. It's to me restructuring.
Okay.
What do you mean by restructuring takes different forms?
Is this part of, because the question I was going to ask is, what is the logic in the two candidates, namely President Muhammadu Buhari and the PDP candidate? What's the logic of one adopting this and the other? What is the logic? Why, for instance, does, if I must call it a faction, your side of Ohanaeze stay with Buhari? And what is the logic of thinking of those who are saying Atiku is the thinking of those who are saying Atiku is the person that Ndigbo purportedly is adopting?
Of course, when we visited the president last Friday, we had over 100 traditional rulers.
Okay.
And before we went to visit the president, you are following what is happening. When the president visited Ebonyi, all the traditional rulers were present. And of course, 2 weeks ago, the president was in Aba, where he was adopted by the Ihi of Aba, a 1991-year-old traditional ruler. His Imperial Majesty Ezekonne. Now, everything, logic, argument must be not only sound, but must be valid. If it is sound and it's not valid, it collapses. Those of us who took the bold decision, of course, in a large meeting, the president was suspended.
President General
was suspended, yes. The President General was suspended.
And is now being probed by a 9-man
committee headed by Prince Richard Ozubo.
Okay. He's being investigated?
Yes, he's being investigated. Why you will unilaterally come out with a communique without saying being subject to debate and ratification. Why he would deny the governor's participation in Imeobi. Why he would deny a greater percentage of Ndigbo participation, who are statutory members of Imeobi, participation in Imeobi. It's a serious matter.
Effectively, allegedly misrepresenting
Ndigbo. That we adopted at Ndigbo adopted Atiku. That is what he's being proved for. If he's found culpable, he'll be recommended. Recommendations will be made, and he'll be punished accordingly. If he's not found culpable, of course, he'll be exonerated, because the chairman of the panel is a very strong character in Igbo land, Prince Richard Ozubo. Now, let us take the two sides.
Okay. Now,
Buhari will finish his tenure. Okay. President Buhari.
Now, this is where we're going into the political calculus.
Of course. President Muhammadu Buhari will finish his tenure in 2023. If he wins the election, he will finish in 2023. If Alhaji Abubakar Atiku wins, of course, the Nigerian factor, he will not do 4 years like Nelson Mandela. He wants to do 8 years. And he will be, if he wins the second term, he will be finishing his tenure, completing his statutory tenure in 2027. Ndigbo are desirous to have a bite of the cherry.
Talking about the presidency.
Of course, we are desirous to have a bite of the cherry. 50 years after the war, today, to next year we make it 50 years. We want to have a bite of the cherry. The question is, which decision brings us closer to a bite of the cherry? It is the decision to support Muhammadu Buhari, whose tenure will end in 2023.
So there's, let it be said, there's enlightened self-interest.
Of course, every decision in this world is for self-preservation and promotion of enlightened self-interest. Self-preservation and promotion of enlightened self-interest. 2, if we go out and vote, no Igbo man is on the ballot for president. So we are just struggling to occupy the office of the vice president. And of course, our brothers in the Southwest have that already. And in our own understanding of extending our hands across the Niger, we think we shouldn't be confrontational to what they have already. So that when we are looking for our own, we will come and meet them and say, in 2019, this is what we did. Please help support us so that we too can, in the Nigerian sense of occupying the presidency, have to occupy it. And luckily, the Southwest is lucky to have a leader. The entire Southwest is governed by one party, unlike the Southeast where you have three governors from 3 parties. The governors are from different parties. You have the APGA, you have the APC, you have the PDP. The whole of the Southwest and their Edo brothers are all in APC. And they have a very strong character, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who is the leader. When you are dealing with a people that have a leader, it's easy to negotiate with them than when you are dealing with a people who don't have one leader. So we did all this calculation. Say support, if Buhari wins, we talk to him, the president and commander-in-chief. We talk to Asiwaju in the Southwest. We've come. We've extended our hands across the Benue. We've extended our hand across the Niger. We are the beautiful bride. Give us the presidency.
Okay. But Atiku having Peter Obi as a running mate, that was for a reason, for a strategic reason. There was also political calculus going on there. Ostensibly, with the, as you are saying, purported endorsement of Buhari by Ohanaeze, Peter Obi would have delivered. He's not just there because he's the most handsome guy or because he's the most erudite guy. He's there for a particular reason. So it was part of the calculus of the camp over there.
I don't agree. You know, the problem in Nigeria is that in recent times, we're just carried by emotions of the moment. And I'm not scared as a thinker, a committed Igbo patriot and nationalist, to be objective. Atiku contested presidential election in 2017 with Imeobi as vice president. They lost. They even lost Anambra. In 2007, Atiku was the presidential candidate of the ACN. They lost that. He lost the election and lost in Anambra. Buhari contested presidential election 2007 with vice presidential candidates, Chubo Kadibu and Edwin Umezuoke, as vice presidential candidates. They lost. They lost in Anambra, where 2 of them came from. The point I'm making, with the greatest respect, these 3 examples I've given you points that the Igbos are not desirous to occupy the office of the vice president. We did that in 1979. That is 40 years ago. Ohanaeze Ekwueme was vice president of this country from 1979 to 83, 1983 December. 4 years and 3 months. So it's not that in recent times we've not been given ticket by major party in the opposition order to run. No. Atiku contested with Imeobi, lost. Buhari contested with Ndigbo, lost in there. Doing Umezoke, lost. What I've said is that, is it not better we put our ass together as a people and think wisely, bearing in mind that the Southwest has a block vote and has a leader, a field marshal, a political field marshal.
Let me query that a bit. I have read by Igbo commentators that the Igbo don't do block things. They vote according to their conscience.
I don't agree.
Okay. You probably have heard it too, but you don't agree.
I don't agree. A lot of people are postulating a lot of things to present Igbos as a very people who don't have a political organization, who cannot be organized politically.
Okay.
In 1979, Nnamdi Azikiwe contested presidential election. He won all the votes in Igbo land. The House of Reps, local government chairman, assembly reps, senators, everything. I don't know where, when people say this, you see, when you say something, by my training, I bring something, I rebut it.
Okay.
I come with a rebutter. You say, this is a general thing. No, I say no, there's a rebutter. The rebutter is the Igbos can identify their interests and defend it and promote it. The decision we have taken to endorse Muhammadu Buhari is in the best interest of Ndigbo.
Okay. Now, can I come in there? The decision we've taken to endorse Muhammadu Buhari is in the best interest of the Igbo man. I've also, since all of this erupted, been following it in the press, and I've also read that Ohanaeze is not and should not be, being the apex sociocultural Igbo organization, it's not in the business of endorsing or recommending anybody. First of all, your comment on that Ohanaeze is not and shouldn't be seen to be in the business of endorsing. That's not what we're about. We're not. It's not a political organization. It's referred to consistently as a sociocultural, apex Igbo sociocultural organization. Any comments?
Doctrine of necessity.
Which some might say is quite convenient.
Doctrine of necessity. We are faced with a situation where you collectively sit down and look at what is possible and what is not possible and say, I'm limited to do what is impossible. But am I limited to do what is reasonable for the survival of my race and my people? The decision we took was taking a decision that is reasonable.
Even though it's breaking with tradition?
Yes. Given the exigencies of time.
Okay.
Given the situation we find ourselves. We are faced with a situation where the suspended President General had already let the cat out, just taking a decision that if there is no response to correct it, will be ruined.
Okay, okay.
Will be ruined. Because if you go and if everybody had closed this mouth, we'll go to our houses and sleep. It will be believed, even by those of you in the fourth realm of the estate, that in the Igbos, Ndigbo, endorsed Abubakar Atiku. And of course, it is not true.
Okay, well, can I just put a pause there? I've got to go on a break. We'll come back, we'll continue it with very few interruptions, and of course, we'll then take your calls. I imagine fingers must be hovering over the dial ready to press that go. Stay with us, please. Welcome back, and still having this interesting conversation with Dim Uche Kuku, a lawyer and Secretary General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. If you've been with us from the beginning, he's explained the concept of Imeobi and how it doesn't really apply in a meeting. You can't just get up from a meeting. It doesn't really apply in a meeting. You can't just get up from a meeting of Imeobi and say that the whole body, Ohanaeze, has spoken. And just before we went on break, you had said that, first of all, I was interested when you said that it is the doctrine of necessity that has brought us to this pass, where ordinarily socio-cultural organizations, according to members of it, have not traditionally involved themselves in politics as frontally as this, saying that we endorse this guy. And you had finished the first half by saying that if there is no response, it will be erroneously thought that Ohanaeze Ndigbo is endorsing and supporting PDP candidate, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, which is a lie. Is that fairly accurate?
Of course, we are all living witnesses to the response that came from the Southeast, and particularly the response that came from the governor of the state, P2P, comes from Obiano, who was the main chief host of the president the day he came to Onitsha to commission the Musuluni Mosque. Of course, he's not a member of APC, he's not a member of PDP. He's not a member of PDP, he's not a member of, he's a member of ABGA, and had won his last election. And of course, nobody can doubt his strength in politics, where he won the 21 local government areas. In an election, both APC and PDP presented candidates. He won everybody in his ward and his LGA. He's a very strong character, you can't ignore him. And of course, he has sent his speaker, the speaker, who is the third in the hierarchy of government in the state, to represent him, because he was very busy that day in Oka and Onitsha, hosting dignitaries. Who has sent him to come to the Imeobi, and the speaker arrived in Imeobi at 6 p.m., only to hear that the Imeobi had been held earlier, and then the suspended President General had left. And of course, you know, his response was a huge outburst, where he called the President General, as he then was, and told him clearly that his decision was idiotic. And of course,
which is strange. I mean,
which of course it's unfortunate and sad, but then one thing leads to the other. But then when you are leading a people, you don't take decision that will provoke the people. When you are leading a people in a society that is built on, predicated on consensus, you don't take decisions that will make people offended and neglected. And of course, it had never happened in the history of Ndigbo, where the President General had brought the organization to this level of content and ridicule. And of course, this part of the things is being proved. He's being proved for deceiving Ndigbo. And of course, if he, I tell you clearly, if he's found culpable, the punishment will be heavy. And you see, when you describe the action of a President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo as idiotic, because he brought that to himself. So can we continue to retain that kind of person as President General? The answer, if he's found guilty that he did all this, no, he has to go.
And Governor Okorocha has said it should be ignored.
Of course, not only him, Ebonyi. So the point I'm making, sir, is that you don't do things without, as a leader, it's just like a general. You must consider your troops.
Okay. Let me bring in Bobby. Bobby is in Taraba State. Good morning.
Good morning, Opiri.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Well, I'm really interested on your topic today, and I quite respect every bit of topic my uncle is actually talking about there. Let me just get straight to the point. Politics is all about interest, and he cannot sit down in that place and dictate for the whole of the Igbo race. Politics is all about interest. If they have their differences, they should go and resolve it at home. But I truly respect his views. He has his own views. Anybody in Ohanaeze or Ndigbo has his own views too. Nobody will dictate what is going to happen in the next general election or what is going to happen in 2023 or in 2027. God is the one that gives power to whom is due and to who he actually wants. It's as simple as that. Politics is all about interest. Nobody would actually say it's the same democracy we're talking about. In 1979, Alex Ekweme was running mate to Shagari. I'm sorry to reflect you back into the same what he was trying to talk about. The same president was the one that overthrew the elected government on the 31st of December in 1983. So what are we talking about? Politics is all about interest. I respect his view, and let's just do this thing for the betterment of this country.
All right.
Nigeria belongs to all of us, and it is going to be well with Nigeria. Thank you so much, and may God keep blessing you and your entire crew. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling in. Did you want to comment?
I had earlier said that we had a vice president, and I said that we want to have a bite of the cherry. The vice president don't bite the cherry. Mm-hmm. The vice president discharges delegate what the president says, do this. The man who takes oath of office as president and commander-in-chief is the president. And I've said that we want to have a bite of the cherry. Yes, I believe power comes from God. Just like saying that I can sit down in my house and acquire a degree. The answer is no. I must go to school. I must plan. I must go to primary school, secondary school, university, do my NYSC. So while we agree power comes from God, as a people, you must plan.
Okay.
And work towards it.
And that really, right there, as a people, we must plan, and I'm looking at it from a point of view of we, as a people, we will know our self-interest, whatever that people happens to be. But then you hear, I think Governor Korocha is reported to have said that it's not a political organization. It has no political value. The endorsement purported has no political value. If arriving from the premise of Ohanaeze is not a political organization, Bobby just called in and was saying things along the lines of everybody knows their mind. And you remember that I had said, but you had disagreed, that Igbos are reported to not do block things. They follow their conscience, their understanding, their own feelings, their research. Even President Buhari in Abeokuta yesterday, in Ogun State yesterday, said, vote anyhow you want. It's your right. But you said you don't agree that all of this is irrelevant. The purported endorsement, either by one or the other, as Bobby seemed to insinuate.
Well, I respect him, and he has his opinion as to what is relevant and what is irrelevant.
And how?
And I've said, and I stand by what I've said, that as a leader, you must consider what is best for your people. And that what is best for our people today is to support the president whose tenure will end in 2023.
Okay.
And I have said,
so that the Igbo can get a shot at it early.
The Igbos are desirous to have a bite of the cherry.
Okay.
That is what I said.
Okay.
And let me, what happened in Ogun State, where the president said, vote for any party you like, anybody you like, shows you how liberal the president is. He said it too in Imo. And nothing, we're not saying nobody will come to the polling booth and hold your hand to force you to vote for any candidate. But as leaders, we are thinking about what decision we will take that will be in the interest of our people on the short run and on the long run.
Okay. Okafor, thank you very much for holding on in Alagbado. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to your guests.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I'm Damian Okafor from Alagbado, Lagos.
Okay.
So I want to contribute to the program.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I've been listening to my brother over there, that is the Secretary General of Ohanaeze. Yeah, politics is a game of interest. And he talks about Buhari tenure ending 2023. What is the guarantee that after the tenure of Buhari that Igbo man is going to be president? And I want to tell him categorically that today it is somebody who is alive that survived this year, 2019, 2020 to 2023, that we've been talking about presidency. If he understands Igbo man very well, Igbo man is not interested in who is the president of Nigeria. Igbo man is looking for somebody who will give him a leveling environment for his business to thrive, so that he will be able to succeed in whatever he's doing. Igbo man, average Igbo man does not care who is the president of Nigeria. Even if the person is from Afghanistan, as long as Nigeria there's going to be a good environment, that is enabling environment for his business to thrive, he doesn't care. I want to tell him now, it is political elites like him that make all those calculations. We are talking about survival, and he's talking about having a bite at the presidency. My brother, that is not our concern. That is not our concern. I am speaking the minds of millions of Igbos. And the President General that he's talking about,
yes,
was on television station on Sunday, 10 p.m. on Sunday on Democracy Today, and he was speaking the minds of millions of Nigerians. So,
okay, thank you very much, Okafor. It's interesting, when one man says he's speaking for millions, it might well be the case, but we don't know. And interesting, I suppose, also, this one man is also speaking the mind of millions. This is the thing with politics and calculations and what people refer to as political calculus. And he made some interesting assertions there that would, effectively saying that you don't quite get what the Igbo man wants, and that he, for instance, from his own perspective, has just told us what the Igbo man wants. He doesn't care whether he comes from Afghanistan, paraphrasing him. Just give us an enabling environment so our business can thrive and we're happy with you. Keep everything else. Let us determine our own self, our own success. Of course, I almost guess that you disagree.
Well, first, I'm trained to listen. I can't quarrel with you no matter your opinion. But then he's not correct. The two greatest Igbo sons that had lived on earth were the late Dr. Ndigbo and the late Chief Odimegwu Ojukwu Ikemba Nnewi. Ask him if two of them did not, at different times, contest to become president of Nigeria. Zik did, severally, up till 1983, when he was 79 years, he contested to become president. Odimegwu Ojukwu did on the platform of ABGA. So what you said is not correct. He's saying that, look, the Igbos are not interested. Who told him? You're a trader in Alaba doesn't mean that I will come and join you and be a trader. I'm thinking of something that will be of relevance to support. Of course, even at that, who rules determined what infrastructure that is put in place. Mm-hmm. So if a people want to come to power, you have a man who does not even have any iota of idea how to govern, then you allow him to come to power, you are not interested. When you use the word "we are not interested," then it sounds ridiculously laughable. Two, in our various states, we're equally interested in who rules us. And we recognize the fact that the governors shouldn't come from one senatorial district. And that is why from time to time, this senatorial district will produce a governor, the next senatorial district, next time the next senatorial district, the next time next senatorial district. When once you say the governor should come from one senatorial district for a long time, even in that state, there will be the people will start quarreling. So what he said is not correct again, because even in Igbo land, they are not only saying of who is good, they equally believe that the thing should rotate among the 3 senatorial districts in the various states in the southeast. So the point, he's not getting it right.
Okay.
And I have said that we are desirous to have a bite of the cherry.
Okay,
and I want to equally correct his impression, that life, who will be alive and who will not be alive. Those are no issues. Now, if you take your son or your daughter to school, you invest so much on that, on the boy or the girl. You are not thinking about whether the child will die. If you think that the child will die, you will not even spend. You put all the money in the world for the child to go and read engineering, law, medicine, pharmacy, and accounting and all that. But if the child dies, that is the wish of God. If the child survives, it becomes of great benefit to you and the family and the rest of humanity. So when you are taking decision, you are talking about death, who will be alive. Then you won't take any decision at all in this world.
Okay. Omaege, if I got that name right, good morning.
Omokide.
Okay, good morning. I'm so sorry. Thank you for holding on. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, you see, there is one mistake. The people from, I'm not from the East too. I'm not from the East too. I'm from Edo. Yes, but there is no H. But there is no H in that, but no problem.
Okay.
You see,
we'll take the H out.
They always miscalculate politically when it comes to politics of Nigeria. During what do you call it? Ndigbo was supposed to be the Senate President of Nigeria, assuming he had won the senatorial seat that time. But they miscalculated. Under normal conditions, the president will come from the north, vice from the southwest. Then definitely the Eastern are supposed to produce the Senate presidency. But they didn't calculate very well at that time. They didn't give Ndigbo this as the ranking senator from that area. They didn't allow him to win. Now they paid for it, allowing Saraki to be the Senate president. That's when it passed. On the current issue, I am of the opinion that what the gentleman with you is saying is the total correct thing to do. The Igbos should make a political statement that they are not going for anybody except Buhari. At that time, that 2023, they should be emphatic on it, that 2023 is their own time, because Nigeria belongs to all of us. Me, I'm not from Igbo, but I know they deserve the right to be the president of this country. This can only be done. Let them make a political statement, call themselves together, make a political statement. That this thing belongs to all of us. We have the right to be president of this country, not to divide. What are we doing with this? What are they doing with divide? Let them come to be the president of this country. It is their right. They are entitled to it. All of them should come and make a political statement. They are not supporting any other person. Support Buhari. Once Buhari has left, they should bring their candidate and let everybody in the whole country to support their candidate. Easterners deserve to be the president of this country, not vice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling in. The conversation really looks like only slightly exaggerating it to as if there's this contest for the soul of the Igbo man as it relates to electioneering. On the one side, from within, Ohanaeze has said that whatever they say really is irrelevant because they are not a known political force. Clearly, that is not the concept of you or even, Chief Modo, who you say right now is, going through a sort of disciplinary investigation to see how this shall end. But clearly, it would seem you, the President General, now on different sides of the divide, don't believe that at all. You believe that there's significant political value in Ohanaeze pronouncing one way or the other.
Well, I select my words and I try to situate what I say time, within time, I have said that this election is very, very important to Ndigbo. From Edo State to Oyo, Osun, one political party is in charge. That political party has a national chairman who is Edo, has the leader of the party who is Ashwaju in Lagos State, has Osibanjo who is the vice president from the same Lagos or Ogun. And the party's influence is moving to Kwara. The party is already in charge of Kogi, where you have Yorubas have one senatorial district. Let me be plain, so that nothing hiding. Yorubas have one senatorial district in Kogi and have a very strong population in Kwara. They are predominantly more Yorubas in Kwara than any other group. Now, the simple thing is this. Cross your hand, put your hand across the Niger. We come to the southwest. Your son is running for the office of the vice president. We are supporting you, and you have a leader. We come to the leader, Shawaju. Buhari has a very strong footing in the north. Nobody can neglect him within the Talakawas. Because, of course, ideologically, forget people talking about coup. Coup had been happening in Nigeria. Even Nzogu was a progressive, but he planned a coup. Muritala was a progressive, he planned a coup. Some persons, too, have expressed their disagreement with things that they saw by different means, either through revolution, through coup, through protest, through dissent. That's different ways of saying no to what you don't like. His own idea was, I think Nigeria is corrupt, we need to address it. He came by coup. It was not accepted. Democracy came. He offered himself 4 times, 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015. And he won an incumbent president the first time in the history of Nigeria because the people saw what he was saying. And he came. The cardinal issue, let's address the issue of corruption. He may not be getting it all right, but he's trying to get it right.
At least the sincerity of purpose.
Yes, he may not. And of course, the Bible said that I will judge you by your intentions. Sometimes your action can be wrong, but God will look at your heart. The intention of Buhari to heal the wounds in this country is good. Actions are different things because actions in government, different persons try to help you to realize the actions. Different persons. But his intention is let's heal the wounds in the land. One, we must address the issue of corruption. And I have said, unless we are not realistic, we are not seeing. If you take the block vote of the southwest, you take this northwest, you take the splinter of the votes across, the result is predictable. It's predictable, and that's why I said the doctrine of necessity. If you can predict, if you send me to go and fight Mike Tyson, in spite of the fact that I'm tall, I will use sense and escape from that fight. Not because I will not tell the crowd that look, Mike Tyson will kill me. But when the day of the fight, I would say, look, I'm purging. Let's refuse the fight. So I know if I go, Mike Tyson will kill me. So it's predictable. The outcome is predictable. On the 18th, 19th, the result will be clear. It will be clear. In fact, by 6 p.m. on Sunday, the 17th, it will be clear where the country is going to. And I have vision, but you require courage to drive vision. You may be a visionary leader, but you require courage. I not only have the vision, I have the courage to drive it. Okay. And that is why I said that our people should take the right decision. And majority of our people are thinking that way too. And of course, you see what is happening. Forget what you are hearing. The reality on the ground is that the outcome is predictable. And only if we extend our hand well across the Niger and extend our hand well across the Benue can we come and say, our Yoruba brothers, when you presented one of your best, when you presented one of your greatest, we didn't come to start struggling. Because if we are struggling now to take over president, to produce the president, it's a different thing, but we are struggling not to become president. So why can't we take a decision that is right so that we can tomorrow negotiate? Politics is all about negotiation. You can't, no one group can get it on their own, and that is what they must get. And I don't, as a leader, you don't need the whole world to agree with you. The driving idea is that the whole world
will be strategic. We've completely run out of time.
Thank you.
But I want to thank you very much, Dim Uche Okuku, Secretary General of Ohanaeze. And thank you for explaining a lot of the internal workings of Ohanaeze, and especially for most of us what Imeobi is all about. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.